whiskey lovers, and welcome to another one of Mark's Whiskey Ramblings. Today, the new Ardbeg, the Ardbeg Dark Cove, which is of course the successor to last year's Ardbeg Perpetual. Now, this is a highly coveted release, as those usually are, because this is the release for Ardbeg Day 2016. Or maybe I should say Ardbeg Night, because that was the gimmick this year around. And when they released this, I have to tell you, this is not the committee release, because the committee release was bottled at 55% and has a pale label, while this one is the general release, bottled at 46.5% ABV. It was sold throughout Europe on on Saturday, 28th May, which was Ardbeg Day this year around. And of course, as is usual with this type of very hyped whiskey, it sold out in a matter of days. In my neck of the woods, you actually had to buy another bottle of the standard range, be it Ardbeg or be it Glenmorangie, to be able to acquire the Dark Cove. Now, what's funny about this whiskey is that it is very polarizing whiskey, as the new no-age statement releases of Ardbeg usually are. The last couple of years, we've seen a lot of naysayers on social media as well as those who are still cult followers of Ardbeg. The funny thing about this whiskey is, however, that on the label it clearly states that this is the darkest Ardbeg ever, and that the heart of this single malt was matured on dark sherry casks. Now, what does that even mean? What is a dark sherry cask? Is that Pedro Jimenez? Is that Oloroso? Those are dark sherries? Or, well, I'm sure it's not Fino, not even Amontillado or Manzanilla, because those are light sherries. So let us presume that the heart of this malt matured on dark sherry casks is probably some Oloroso and maybe even some Pedro Jimenez in the mix. But we just don't know. It's nowhere to be seen on the packaging or on the labeling. And neither is an age statement. Again, this is another no age statement, like the Alligator, like the Roller Coaster, the Ardbeg, the Ardbeg Day, the Perpetuum, and so on and so forth. Now, when I poured it, I have to be honest, this is by far the darkest Ardbeg I have ever seen. So, well, enough already with the marketing bullshit, excuse my French, and let us just find out for ourselves if this is good whiskey or not. Because I, for one, prefer to judge the whiskey not on the marketing label, not on the marketing blurb on the label, I should say, but on the contents of the bottle, on the whiskey at hand. So, this is old golden, almost coppery, but certainly not the darkest Ardbeg I've ever seen. Bottled at 46.5% ABV on the nose. Well, I have to say it's pleasant enough. Loads of vanilla and tar, so there's a lot of bourbon matured in here as well. There's only a small part of Oloroso or Pedro Jimenez or sherry at all. I do get soya sprouts. Soy sprouts, that's a first. But it's not unpleasant. Loads of walnuts, that must be sherry as well. Loads of walnuts and some seaweed, some band-aids, some bicycle tire. All of those are typical Ardbeg notes, to be honest. Get some licorice, some ginger and nutmeg. And if there is any fruit in there, and there is some fruit in there, it's mostly lemon or lime. The smoke is rather discreet. It is there. The peat is unmistakable. It is there, but it is discreet and in the background. And it turns a bit sweet, like caramelized oranges, you know. All in all, I find this to be a very, very pleasant nose indeed. Not bad at all. All right, on the palate then. Salty. Yeah, quite salt. Brine. Woo. Seaweeds again, but also ashes. A lot of oak. There's a lot of tannins in there. There's a little sweetness, but it is rather short, and it immediately is overcome again by the salty, briny notes of Ardbeg, the sooty notes of Ardbeg. Now, I get some smoked ham with a drop of lime juice on top of it. This is quite nice, actually. The same spices as I had on the nose, like ginger, nutmeg. Seville oranges now. It's sweet and bitter. And salty, so there's a lot going on here, in fact. And the peat, of course, but the tannins are a bit overpowering to my taste. But nevertheless, this is a very nice Ardbeg. This is quite a classic Ardbeg. On the finish then. The finish is wonderfully long, but while the spices fade, I do get a touch of plasticine and rubber at the death. Anyway, so, good. This is a good whiskey. Let's be honest. Let's not be detracted or distracted by the marketing blurb and the fact that it's available or not and that you can get your hands on it or not, blah, blah, blah. This is very hyped and all that. But at the end of the day, what's inside the glass is actually quite a good Ardbeg. Now, I have to say, I paid €100 for this bottle, which is not bad, you know. It's not bad because I saw in the UK it's £100. That's 30% more. That would translate into €130 in my neck of the woods. So that's the exchange rate. But it's not bad at all for €100. But if you count the fact that you had to buy another one, in my case I bought the regular 10-year-old, but I had to buy that for €50 while normally that's 40. So there is a bit of haggling going on there at the Ardbeg embassies. But having said that, it is a good whiskey, but is it worth it? In my opinion, not really, because for the same amount of money, or even less money, you can still get the Korivrekken, or the Oogdal, or even the Beist. And this one does not even come close to those. So instead of spending €100 on another one of the Ardbeg Dark Coves, I would prefer to buy 2 Ardbeg 10s. That would make me much happier, because the Ardbeg 10 is, that's your quintessential Ardbeg, and it's still one of the best, and certainly value for money. So Ardbeg Dark Cove, good, yes. Excellent, no. But hey, it's a good enough whiskey. I love Ardbeg, and once you see through all the marketing bull, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, it's just a very good whiskey. So that's all for this Whiskey Rambling, and I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you again at one of Mark's Whiskey Ramblings real soon. Until then, may the malt be with you.